Hi. This must be the stallion you called about. You were so worried on the phone.
Yes, I'm really worried about him. Everything was fine until he collapsed in that fall. He was trembling and really stiff, and I just knew I had to bring him in to be checked.
I see what you mean about the muscle twitching and the stiffness in his hindquarters. Have you noticed this thin red membrane in the corner of his eye?
Yes, I was going to ask about that. What could that be?
Well, that's his third eyelid. It can protrude for a number of reasons, including dehydration, swelling, or another serious condition. When did you first notice this?
Only after the fall.
Okay, well, it could possibly be due to inflammation or irritation caused by the fall. I'll take a closer look. Was there anything else that was concerning you?
I'm just really worried about his health. I want to find out what's going on with him. Also, I want to breed from him. Do you think I could possibly do that in the future?
Well, I'm not sure yet, but I will take some samples if that's okay, and I'll have a look at them to find out what is going on and if it will affect his breeding.
Yeah, do you think he's in pain at all?
He appears bright, alert, and fairly calm despite the muscle twitching. He's a well-mannered, lovely boy.
So what do you think this could be caused by?
Well, it's hard to say right now. It could be from a deficiency in selenium or vitamin E in his diet, or an imbalance in blood calcium, but I'm leaning towards a muscular disease. There are a number of these, so I'd like to take some blood tests, do a urine test, muscle biopsy, and exercise test to confirm. Is it okay if I take him from you for a few hours?
Yes, that's fine. Take care of him, and please let me know when you find out.
I'll take very good care of him. I'll call you as soon as I have the results.
Thank you.
Come on, bro.
Hello, this is Jess from the Genetics Lab. How may I help you?
Hi, my name's Isabel. A client of mine brought in a stallion a few hours ago that appears to have some sort of muscle condition. I've done blood tests and discovered elevated creatinine kinase, aspartate transferase, and an increase in serum potassium levels.
That sounds like it could be a number of diseases causing muscle injury due to the increased enzyme levels. However, the potassium could either be due to hyperkalemic periodic paralysis disease or due to a dietary source. What additional tests did you perform?
That's what I thought about the enzyme, so I then ruled out a selenium or a vitamin E deficiency from the blood test and confirmed that it was muscular by finding myoglobin in the urine. I was skeptical that it would be HYPP as the horse collapsed during exercise, but exercise is usually a treatment for HYPP, and so I have ruled this disease out as the exercise should be helping to manage the disease, not make it worse. Then I decided to do a muscle biopsy and found PAS positive inclusions, sarcolemmal vacuoles, and beta-glycogen inclusions.
That sounds very much like it could either be type 1 or type 2 polysaccharide storage myopathy. If it is type 1, there's a strong genetic correlation, although we are not quite sure what causes type 2 as of yet.
Okay, how can we differentiate between the two of them?
Please send me a sample of blood and some hair roots from the stallion. I'll run a genetic test to confirm that is PSSM, and I'll be able to tell you which type.
Okay, I'll get those to you today.
I'll contact you as soon as I complete the test. Bye.
Thank you, bye. Hello?
Hi again, Isabel. Sorry about getting back to you so late. The genetic test I ran can be slow. Also, I apologise for the inconvenience of having to provide a large sample size. Luckily, the benefits outweigh its limitations, and I can use this method for a number of things, in particular genetic diseases.
That's fine. What genetic markers were you looking for?
Well, the storage of abnormal glycogen in polysaccharide storage myopathy results from a genetic defect that enhances either glycogen production or glucose uptake into skeletal muscle. A genome-wide association study using microsatellite markers found that on chromosome ECA10, there is a polymorphism in the gene GYS1 that encodes for the skeletal muscle form of glycogen synthase. There is a G to A based substitution that changes the normal arginine codon to a histidine, therefore causing a gain-of-function mutation in type 1 PSSM. The cause of type 2 is still being researched.
Okay, so you ran a genetic test to find if the stallion had a mutation on the GYS1 gene?
Yes, but there's also another mutation of the RYR1 gene that causes malignant hypothermia. Horses can have both mutations, and this will make symptoms of PSSM more severe, including a higher exercise intolerance and a higher mortality rate. Therefore, it is recommended to run tests for both genes.
How do you test for these mutations?
The test I elected to do is called Restriction Fragment Length Polymorphism Assay.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, firstly, I extracted DNA from the samples you gave me and amplified the section of DNA that I am concerned about. I then put restriction endonucleases in with the DNA that are attracted to a specific DNA sequence repeat and allowed them to digest the DNA. If variance results in the creation or destruction of a restriction enzyme recognition site, then different DNA fragments will be detectable following DNA digestion. To determine the differences in lengths, I used gel electrophoresis to examine the fragments.
So then what results did the tests yield?
The stallion tested positive to type 1 PSSM, but negative to malignant hypothermia, therefore making the condition easier to manage for you and your client than if it had both mutations.
Okay, I understand that the quarter horses are more predisposed to this condition and the stallion in question has quarter horse lines. Are there any other breeds more commonly affected, and why is this breed specific?
PSSM is most common in quarter horses, warm bloods, and draft horse breeds. It is predicted that this mutation is identical by descent amongst the different breeds and likely originated prior to formation of the distinct modern breeds known today. This may be possibly due to horsemen selecting animals with PSSM as they were trying to breed horses with more muscling.
Okay, so now we know what is causing the disease. Is there any advice that you recommend I give the client? She seemed particularly worried about the possibility of breeding this stallion in the future.
I would recommend that you advise a client on diet and other management strategies to lessen the symptoms of this disease. As a stallion tested negative to malignant hypothermia, this has a high probability of being successful. In regards to breeding, this is an autosomal dominant trait, and therefore, depending on whether the stallion is heterozygous or homozygous for the trait, foals from the stallion would have a 50 or 100% chance of inheriting the disease.
Okay, thank you for your advice. Could you please email me through a copy of the results for me to send to the client?
I'll send that right through. Let me know if you need anything else.
No worries, thank you so much.
Bye.
Hey Lola, so I have both results here. It turns out he has a disease called polysaccharide storage myopathy.
That doesn't sound good. What does that mean?
Well, basically, it's a genetic disease which causes abnormal sugar storage in the muscles. No matter how much Bo is eating, the body keeps storing sugar in the muscles. When the muscles need energy to work, they cannot access these stores. That's why Bo is tying up.
That's no good. Is there anything I can do to help? Will he always be like this?
Well, Bo's condition can be treated through a diet management plan, housing changes, and a consistent exercise routine. What are you feeding Bo at the moment?
A mix of pasture, molasses, grain, and lucerne chaff.
Okay, now due to PSSM, we're going to have to make a few adjustments. We will need to feed him a low-starch, high-fat diet, which will help reduce glucose being taken up into the muscles.
Okay, so what should I be feeding him?
Well, first we need to reduce the molasses in the diet and avoid feeding oats or sweet feeds. You have to be careful with these feeds, as horses with PSSM can be easy keepers, which means they put on weight easily. Bo is looking pretty good at the moment, not overweight, so I think we can add in some oil for the energy to make up for the low calories in the low starch diet. You could use oil such as a soybean or a flaxseed oil.
Yep. So, no molasses, add oil. Anything else?
The bulk of Bo's diet is made up of pasture and lucerne chaff. Lucerne chaff is probably not the best idea for Bo because it is high in potassium nitrate levels and low in sodium. This will throw out the balance of the potassium-sodium pumps in the muscles and may be part of the reason for Bo's weakness and collapse. Pasture should be mature, stemmy hay to reduce potassium intake on grazing, and grazing on the lush green pasture should be reduced. To stop Bo from eating the green pastures, you could put on a grazing muzzle, move him to a dry feed lot, or on low yield acreage.
I can definitely do that. Can I still ride him?
Well, he definitely needs to be regularly exercised. After his collapse, we need to reintroduce exercise gradually through small paddock turnout with companions. Do you have any other horses he can spend time with?
Yes, I do, and he gets along really well with them.
Great. Well, spending time with them will help Bo increase his energy metabolism. Once he gets a bit better, he needs to be exercised daily through short, light work for about 3 to 5 minutes at a walk or a trot. This can then be increased by 2 minutes each day until about 15 minutes, where you can try intervals at a walk and then a trot with breaks in between. But you just have to take it slow and steady with him for now.
I can definitely do that. What about breeding him?
I would say that you shouldn't breed from Bo. I understand this may be difficult because you are planning on using him for breeding, but there is at least a 50% chance that any of Bo's offspring would inherit the disease, so this would not be a good idea. It is a difficult disease to manage, as you now know, and the foal may experience more pain and suffering than necessary if it does inherit the PSSM.
50%. That's a big chance. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Okay, yeah. Yes, and the foals that are tested for PSSM positive through tests such as the 5-panel test are less valuable and much harder to sell to potential buyers.
So if I do breed from him, will I know straight away if the foal is affected?
Well, the symptoms may not show up straight away. Usually they appear when the foal is about 6 years old or so, or when you change their exercise routine due to being laid off because of injury, weather changes, or any other circumstances.
I will keep that in mind.
Okay, so I put this together to remind you of everything we've talked about.
Thank you.
That's okay. Good luck with Bo. Let me know if you get any other help with anything.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. Bye, Bo.